Over to you, Aditi.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope all good and safe and healthy. And we're going to get wiser in the next couple of hours, learning about how to break the bias, right? And we have an amazing party set across a couple of days, and we're kickstarting it with this Onstage contest. So we, Women Inclusive in Technology, is the new avatar of EWIT Trivandrum, and we are very, very happy that we're partnering with some amazing sponsors and industry partners to bring these programs to you. So I am Aditi Radhakrishnan, General Secretary of We Women Inclusive in Technology. Yes, I'm repeating the name many times so that I get used to saying it, because we're so used to saying EWIT, right? But all right. Anyway, I'm sure we've been able to connect to a lot of people over the last few weeks. But if there are friends or colleagues who haven't heard about the upcoming programs, please do reach out to them and let them know. Without much ado, let me get to this section of what we are launching today. So Onstage contest is something that we've been doing very happily for the last 4 editions of IWD. And we think it's a great way for people to learn about the new ways of thinking, what can be done differently. So it's kind of in a reverse mentoring format too. So we have some amazing panelists, and I'm going to introduce them in a bit. But at the same time, we also have some amazing contestants from companies that are within the Technopark and outside of Technopark as well. We're happy that we should have representation from other parts of Kerala as well. Especially in this virtual world, it's much easier, right? So I don't know, for some reason, I'm also getting these admit. Kripa and Preeta, would one of you just look at the waiting room? Because I don't want to be distracted at the same time. Right. So the Onstage contest is a place where we get to learn in a very short time some interesting ways that we can reach to the ideal world that we all dream of, right? Where we wouldn't even be having a Women's Day, or where we wouldn't even be talking about women's empowerment and things like that. And that world is not too far away. I think we're getting there, but there are things to be done, and we now need to accelerate our pace of doing that. So in a panel, generally we introduce the panel in a alphabetical order, but I'm going to do something very different this time. I'm going to start with the sole male in this panel, and he's a great ally of We Women Inclusive in Technology. He's a great ally of feminists. He calls himself a feminist. I'm sure you'll hear him in a couple of minutes. And it's none other than Subhash. Subhash is founder of Trinity Skillworks. Thank you, Subhash, for agreeing to be part of this panel once again. You're welcome again, because I know you've been on our panels many times recently. So this is once more an opportunity to hear from you. Thank you so much, Subhash.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Aditi. Thank you, Radhika. Thank you, everyone. Nice to see you all, and all the best to all the participants.
Great. Okay. We also have Linika Khatar, Regional Head, NASSCOM. And ma'am, we're very happy to have you on board. You're the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Head as well. So we're really, really happy that NASSCOM continues to partner with us in all these events. In this Kuti state of Kerala, you're still taking time out for us, and we're really happy. And I'm sure we'll hear from you soon in one of our panel discussions too. So thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation and being on our panel today.
Thank you, Aditi, and I wish all the panelists all the best wishes. And I am not the regional head. I am leading the Diversity Inclusion Charter for NASSCOM. Prior to this, I was the regional head for NASSCOM. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So leading the diversity is quite a tall order. So I think that is definitely better than just being a regional head. I think you've moved up there. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Maluji, she's the innovation head of Digital University Kerala. So, we have a different panelist this time, and we're really, really happy that you've taken the time out for us. Dr. Malu, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for introducing. I'm the research officer of the UK Digital University. And all the best
Thank
for
you.
the candidates.
Thank you. Ms. Bindu Edakara, I think she's not able to make it today, but she's also on the panel and she will definitely give her views. And she's the managing director of Kerala State Women Development Corporation. We also have HR Balakrishnan. Is he in? Radhika?
Arunima Balakrishnan, and then Annie Moses.
Yeah, okay. Arunima is the Vice President, Strategy, Digital and Innovation of Wells Fargo, and she's also part of We Women Inclusive in Technology. So she's representing all of us too. And thank you, Arunima, for being part of this. Thank you for taking time out.
Thank you. It's always wonderful to be part of this group, and looking forward to hearing your wonderful ideas to team. Thank you so much for taking part in this initiative.
Okay. And last but not least, one of our strongest supporters, Annie Moses from Technopark. Annie, thank you very much for continuing to support We Women Inclusive in Technology. I know you're a part of us, so it's as much your place as ours. So thank you.
Thank you, Aditi, for introducing me. It's a great pleasure to be part of this on-stage event. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. So, I don't want to take out more time, and I want to let the participants start. But I'm really, really glad that we also have some cheerleaders here. Some others who are wanting to listen and learn from all of you. So thank you for everyone who made time to come today for this presentation. I would request you to try and keep your phone, your mic on mute if you're not speaking. And of course, we do have admin rights to try and do that. But if all of us can be cautious, it'll be good. But also at the same time, if you are a speaker, don't forget to unmute. All the very best. Thank you, team. And so today's teams are being called out. So the first team, I think, comes from Finestra, right? It's okay. So Finestra team will start presenting in a bit. And over to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aditi. So I'm just sharing my screen. Let me know.
Just one second. Radhika, what is our thing about the participants? Would you want to just finally share that as well, but the rest of the participants?
The participants' details. We have 2 participants for today, and the third one is expected to join us at 5:15, but we will reconfirm their presence. Otherwise, we will reschedule that for the day 2, that is on Wednesday. There are another 4 teams lined up for presentation. These are the shortlisted teams from the nominations received. So all the very best, team 1.
Thank you. So are you able to view my screen?
Yes, we are.
So good evening, everyone. Thank you, Women Inclusive in Technology, for giving us this opportunity to present our ideas on the topic gender equality and sustainable development. My name is Lakshmi Sunaja Harigovind, and I am here with my team member, Sriraj Rajendran. We both work as Senior Product Analyst at Finestra.
Good afternoon.
So gender equality and sustainable development, how does these terms correlate? We should first look at what sustainable development is and what sustainable development goals are. There are 17 interlinked global goals set up by United Nations in 2015 in the aim to achieve sustainable future for all. And gender equality is key to delivering a transformative vision of the Agenda 2030. That is, we are trying to achieve all these goals by 2030. Unless we make progress on gender equality, the global community will fail to achieve all the other 16 goals. So to hear more about why gender equality matters across the SDGs, let's hear from Sriraj.
As Lakshmi rightly pointed out, the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development has got 17 goals at its core, and the number 5 being gender equality. Now, this goal number 5, is it limited to itself? Can it work independently? The answer is no, because gender equality matters across the other 16 goals as well. Whether we take environment, poverty eradication, hunger, education, or economy, or social development, etc., gender equality has got a big role to play. Why is that so? Because women comprises of half the population. So from a human resources perspective, this is a big chunk of resources that is currently underutilized by the world. This is where it gets very essential that we improve the quality of life, education, and work environment of women. There are actually many examples in front of us with the women who are making a difference, leading the way in sustainable development. But still, the percentage of women involved in these activities is still very low. There are many women out there like Asha, Sophia, or Crystal who just need a minimum quality of life and education to actually realize their potential and give it back to the society. This is where gender equality plays a huge role in meeting the sustainable development goals that the United Nations have defined for us.
So where does Finastra stand when it comes to gender equality and sustainable development? Finastra's environmental, social, and governance team places social responsibility at its heart of its culture. We try to bring people and technology together through financial inclusion, social innovation, and environment mission. As you can see, with the environment mission, as part of our environment mission, we have already put 1/3 of our customers on energy efficient cloud platforms. And by making 10 million people financially educated, we have also achieved one of the initiatives from financial inclusion. And when it comes to social equity, that is where gender equality is being attained. We are trying to achieve 40% women in leadership in the Finastra leadership team by 2024 and a 50% male to female ratio across the organization by 2030. So it's moving on. So how do we achieve this? So we have team women at Finastra where we are trying to create a safe environment. We are providing equal opportunity for everyone, men and women, and encouraging unbiased decision making.
So as Lakshmi said, forming a team is the first step towards our goal. What next? Women at Finastra actually comes with a predefined strategic plan. So this is how Women at Finastra team has defined their strategic pillars and their objectives, their stages, initiatives, and success measure. So equality, growth, and development being the first pillar, awareness and branding the second, education and membership the third. In the first one, it's basically our goal to support the goal of 35% women in the leadership team by FY 2022. So we will be partnering with the talent acquisition team. We'll be doing mentorships and sponsorship programs for the upcoming budding leaders of our organization. How does equality, growth, and development can be achieved? There are plenty of ways to it. So there are some leaders that we always look up to. For example, Shashi Tharoor and other leaders who are actually our inspiration to become a person like them or a leader like them. So inspirational talks by leaders, both external as well as internal. So hearing about their challenges, how they face those challenges in life to reach where they are. This kind of chit chats with these leaders would be actually enabling us for a better inspiration to become a better leader. Male Advocates Charter being launched in each site of Finastra. So women at Finastra doesn't mean it's a team of women. It's a team of both men and women working towards a fixed goal. So it has got these male advocates who actually care for equality in their own definitions. Then learning is a continuous process, and leadership training being given to the women cohort is also an important factor here. Women at Finestra cohort is actually a team, a budding team of upcoming leaders being selected every year, who are given mentorship and leadership to become future leaders, and thereby achieve our goal of having a 35% women representation in the leadership team. So this includes cohort sessions, which actually enhances women and their experience in work environment as well as personal life. We are breaking the bias here by having a panel discussion on period poverty, awareness session on menopause, the different impacts of having a chit chat on different impacts of anxiety and depression, impact on mental well-being, etc. These are some of the sessions that have already happened, and there are more to come.
So we have seen different initiatives at Finastra for gender equality. So where have we reached now? So when we look at all employees across the organization, we are at 38% when it comes to male to female ratio. And when it comes to women in leadership, there is a 33% of male to female ratio. Finastra is continuing its journey to achieve 50% workplace equality by 2030. We are not there yet, but we are confident that we will achieve it by 2030. And by doing so, we are also doing our part in attaining United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, tomorrow is now. It is today that we must create the world of the future. We believe that this quote resonates well with United Nations theme for International Women's Day 2022. Gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. So let's hope for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, team. So jury members, this is your opportunity to ask the team any questions you have about their presentation and any clarifications you'd like to have.
Hi, this is Linika. So you all have mentioned 33%, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So at what levels is this 33%? Is it at the top level, women in leadership, top of the pyramid?
Yes. So this is at the top of the pyramid that we have this 33%. So our aim is to make it 50%, 40% at the Finastra leadership team
and this
level.
33% is at an India level?
No, it's across the organization globally.
And what is at an India level?
India level, sorry,
It's
I
the
do
same
not have
actually.
It's around 33. It's more than 33%, but we do not have the exact percentage.
Okay. So basically what you are all saying is that taking care of gender equality, you are, it's leading to sustainable environment, right? Is that what the message that you're conveying?
Yes. So I can just go back to this. If you see, we have this different sustainable development goals, the 17 goals. So we have research showing that for each goal, how empowering women is effective. For instance, the first goal, that is poverty, research shows that when there is more cash in the hands of women, it contributes not only to eliminate poverty, but it also helps in the betterment of education, nutrition for children and other members of household. And when it comes to sustainable development, women having equal rights to their city and their safety in public spaces is crucial for sustainable urbanization. So there is research studies showing that each of the goals are how they identify themselves.
Have you linked all 16 sustainable goals to women empowerment?
Yes, all 17 goals to women empowerment. Actually, it's not done by us. Even United Nations have studies which has all the 17 goals linked to women empowerment. We have a list of all the 17 goals. So for one other, I mean, we were not also aware how this is being linked, but when we read more about it, when we did our research, we found out that all 17 goals are interlinked for sure, and women empowerment definitely has a role to play in all the goals.
And also, I think this is the base for this year's theme for Women's Day as well, laid out by the United Nations Organization, Gender Equality for Sustainable Development, which includes these 17 goals at its core.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to both of you. It was a nice presentation. I just wanted to get your thoughts and inputs on how this theme and this concept applies to the hybrid mode of working that's coming, and this work from home thing that has been going on. And women are, without doubt, the more affected because of whatever happened in the last 2 years. So how would you connect that to what you were saying?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So if you see all these initiatives that are being presented here, we are doing it for the past 2 to 3 years, even before COVID hit and after the COVID. So there was a definite shift to how things were done. But after COVID, as you mentioned, mental health was something that was impacted most. And as part of ERG, we have different ERGs at our organizations for women, for LGBTQ community, for people with special abilities. So we as a team, we planned on the intersectionality, and we decided that mental health should be the primary focus during this COVID time, probably mostly for women as well as others. So as you can see, there were different sessions and different talks that were done with the help of experts, third-party external experts from all over the globe. So it was not just attained to India level or Trivandrum level. So we had different sessions across the globe with men and women, because we say that women are the most affected. That is true, yes, because they have additional responsibilities in addition to the work. But there are cases when men are being affected also, and not just men, people with special abilities, because there is an intersectionality point of view in all these things when it comes to how COVID has impacted all of us. So we definitely had a major shift on how we do the things. So we started working online mostly. We started off with the cohort online, and all these sessions, all these initiatives were carried out online virtually itself. So I think it definitely helps most of us, because we gave them a platform to open up to a safe place to express their views and express their concerns. And we definitely made a note of it and tried to provide support for them so that they were able to overcome the difficulties that they were facing. So we also have a Finastra assistance program where people could open up being anonymous, even if their family members or anyone they know has any problems, they were able to contact this Finastra assistance program and open up being anonymous if they wanted to do that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all for me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks so much. One question.
Lakshmi, this is Annie here.
Okay, go ahead, Annie. I'll ask after you.
Okay, you're asking?
No, go ahead, Annie. I can wait.
Okay, Lakshmi, I would like to know, as you have been telling about Finestra, have you ever thought of, what is the gender equality in Kerala IT as a whole? Have you ever thought of, researching on that? And have you ever taken statistics on that?
So when it comes to statistics, we haven't taken up statistics on that, but we definitely are working on helping the community as well. I mean, when I say everything about Finastra, it's not just about Finastra. These are things that are happening inside Finastra and externally as well. So as I mentioned, we have this ESG team who takes this social equity at its heart. So what we do for Finastra employees, this is being applied to external younger generation, female from younger generations as well. We also make it an effort to nurture the youth. So we have a Hour of Code program, for instance. That is just an example where we go in and educate the children We provide volunteer hours. Finastra employees provide volunteer hours, and they educate the children. It's not just for women, but for everyone. But when we say gender equality, it should be for everyone, not just women and men, even the other genders as well. So we are doing for the community as well. We are, whatever we are doing and we are successful here, we are doing that for the community as well. But when it comes to statistics, I'm sorry, I do not have the statistics with me right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Great to see your presentation and happy to hear what Finastra is doing on this regard. My question is with respect to what, twofold. Okay, my question is twofold. One, with respect to what Finastra is doing, what is your unique contribution in this part? Second, how as employees, you both being employees of Finastra, how do you feel what Finastra is doing is helping you as employees of the organization?
Suresh, do you want to start off?
I can start with the second fold actually. So in leadership town halls and other meetings like this, where we interact with our leaders of the organization, that is Finastra, we hear about these things. Women at Finastra, we have cultural inclusion, proud at Finastra, special abilities team, etc. So that is something that happens every time. We hear from our leaders in town hall, but most of the decisions made by the leadership team, we don't see it reflecting in our own daily work environment. But there was a recent happening in my team where a QA member who was a woman had to resign because of her career opportunities that she seek for, and we wanted a replacement. So we were trying to recruit another QA member, and we checked with the talent acquisition team to give us a list of profiles so we can shortlist and have interviews and maybe take a suitable candidate. So the first set of profiles came, 5 profiles came, all were women. We thought it was a coincidence. Fine. Then another 9 set of profiles came. Those were also women. Then we got a third set. So all were women. So my manager got curious and asked the talent acquisition team, okay, what's going on? Is there anything special here? So the actual idea is that if a woman employee resigns, you replace her, you first give preference for a woman to be replaced on her role. So that is something that we directly see in our daily teamwork, something that we heard from a leader at the town hall, but we actually see it happening in the ground level. So that is how serious our leaders are, basically. And so as an employee, yes, I do feel that these initiatives are actually making sense and are being applied rather than just talks. Lakshmi, you want to take the first one?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, where we stand. So I am part of the Women at Finastra cohort for the last 3 years, for more than 3 years. I must say that it has helped me a lot because when I first I was introduced to Women at Finastra, when an email came asking to enroll for Women at Finastra, I was not at all aware what exactly would be the requirement, but I just went ahead out of curiosity and enrolled for it. And I never had to look back because it was a wonderful experience. One thing is that I was a person who was very shy to speak in public. So that is one thing. I always felt that I had leadership skills, but I never tried it out, or I never got an opportunity to try it out. But after joining Women at Finastra, I never had to look back. I started participating in different hackathons. I started interacting with senior leaders who, whenever they came down, that actually opened up because, as Sriraj mentioned during his presentation, having leaders talk to us, sharing their experience, it definitely helps, because we know that we are not alone in here. I mean, there are many other people like us who have reached, who have attained their goals. So it definitely helped me to be part of the Women at Finastra cohort. And another part is that I am also part of the Special Abilities ERG. So Women at Finastra definitely gave me the confidence to take up that role. That is a global role where I play the program manager, where I coordinate all the activities of that particular employee resource group across the organization for the whole of Finastra. So definitely being a part of Women at Finastra has helped me personally, and I have seen people flourish after joining Women at Finastra. And personally as well, I have had many opportunities to interact with many people, with many senior leaders. I had the opportunity to compete in this presentation contest where I could press. And first things, because of this cohort, I am able to press, we as a team, myself and Sri Raja is able to present this ideas here, because this is what we are doing at Finastra. These are not just ideas, these are best practices which we are currently carrying out in our organization. So definitely women at Finastra has played an important part in all our lives.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Malu from the UK. So I would like to ask you, can you
Great.
define?
Thank you, team. Do you remember? So I'm sure you have now all your questions answered with regards to this team. We're ready to start with the next team, I think. Radhika?
Yeah, I heard, do you remember asking a question? Was it, it was not very audible. Was it a last question?
Oh, sorry, even I didn't hear.
Hello.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, can
Yeah,
you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes,
So,
yes, Dr. Blue.
yeah. So I would like to ask you, 2030, we need to achieve the goal, gender equality. Okay. So what is the next step to achieve this?
okay. So first things, we are currently having these initiatives that we have. So one, as we mentioned, we are currently helping the employees. We currently have helping the women employees at Finastra. We are identifying them based on an assessment, and we are identifying them who have leadership skills and who have leadership traits. We are identifying them, giving them different, giving them coaching, leadership coaching. There, as we mentioned about the accelerated leadership program, the Women Wizards program from NASCOM. So we are sending them out to attend these programs, and we are helping them grow. So that is one thing. So, and internally, whenever there is a placement, so first things we try to fill that internally. So as Sriraj mentioned, if we have this an opening coming up, if that was an opening of a women employee, we try to replace it with the women employee. Even otherwise, we try to hire women employees with capabilities to those positions. So that is one thing. The next thing is that even if we see at the Finastra leadership team, we saw the same thing, because recently we had a reorg, and when they organized, they promoted more women employees from the Finastra team to the leadership team, so that they could attain this 33% of ratio, male-female ratio. And the next thing, and other things that we do is that, as I mentioned, we are also helping the upcoming, I mean, this is with terms to Finastra, and in and when it comes to the innovation part of the hackathons part, where we definitely have a different theme for social innovation, where we have the tech for good. We have different themes under social innovation, like tech for good, financial inclusion. So one thing another thing that we do is educate people on financial inclusion, because we know that at many places, not just women, but many places, many other people are also not financially literate, and that is not helping them grow. So we are helping them grow by the financial inclusion as well. And these are some steps that we are taking, and we are continuing the journey. So hopefully every year, at the end of every year, we review the results, we measure the successes, and we review the results and make adjustment as and when needed to attain more.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It was really good to listen to the best practices in Finastra, and the questions were also thought-provoking. We have to move on to the next team, and team number 2.
Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself and start the presentation?
Yes, of course. Good evening, all. My name is Jilmi Joy. Yes. Okay. We team hustlers will be taking you through the presentation. Okay. Jilmi, you should respect boys. That's what I heard from my mother as a child. As a kid, I used to think it was okay. But times went by, I realized that was wrong. If someone treats me badly, should I simply respect that person? Is that right? Or am I wrong? Should I respect a person just because he is a male? In fact, it should be respect the person, not the gender. At my home, my brother has all the freedom that I can think of. But for me, I have to ask everyone's permission for everything. Wearing what I want, permission. Sports I like to play, permission. Going out with my friends, permission. Stay late at the office, again, permission. Permission, permission, permission from everyone every day. So I started asking, why? Why should I do that always? Things started changing for me from that time onwards. I was filled with more and more why during the period of my schooling. I gained the confidence to voice out about the injustice that was happening in my life. When I began to reciprocate, I noticed things gradually started changing. I was given opportunities like my brother and see where I am today. I strongly believe that education played a major role in building my confidence to voice out the injustice, to broke the negative mindset that I carried out from my childhood, thinking that it is okay. I too broke some of the mindset of my parents by having some dialogues with them multiple times at home. I believe education is the foundation upon which changes can be built in gender equality like mine. So, we hustlers believe that gender equality education is more crucial in realizing a sustainable tomorrow. We believe that the school should provide a platform for experiential learning, not for a day, but for a consistent learning, where children can become aware, discuss, ask questions, self-realize, and practice equality from the start. Let their personal conviction become the driving force to practice equality. They will be the change makers in the family and the society and the country in the present and the future. Believe us, the future mother, father, nurse, doctor, advocate, lawyer, MP, MLA, IPS officers are sitting in the benches of the schools today. So let's begin at the school and home to go global. Okay, I'm handing it over to you, Ashwati.
Thank you so much, Zilmi. Hope rises like a phoenix from the shades of shattered dreams. In spite of all the humiliations, discriminations, bullying, and all, women has always risen up. We have set our foots in all areas: science and technology, climate change, medical science, sports, films, politics, etc. and what not. From Rani Lakshmi Bai to Nirmala Sitaram, from Nilima Khose to from Gunjan Saxena to Madhuri Kanitkar, and the list goes on. Greta Thunberg, one of the world's best non-climate campaigners, is just an 18-year-old woman. And now, in this time of this pandemic, about 70% of health workers are women, which are not even worried of being how they may get infected or not. And being a Malayali woman, I feel very proud to mention here the name of Sister Lini Sajish, who was honored with Florence Nightingale Award in the year 2019 for sacrificing her life fighting against the Nipah virus. Handing over my session to Lavanya.
Thank you, Ashwati. So now, despite of all these achievements, let us look some stark reality. Perhaps it is more worrying as we look at it. Apart from the indices highlighted, India ranked 140th in the Gender Gap Index out of 156 countries. The estimated earned income of the women in India is 1/5 of the men. It's heartbreaking that 27% of the girls in India still get married at the age of 18. This is a man-made disaster caused by the mindset that we exacerbate by tampering with the national selection. It is unfortunate that we do come across notions of womanhood tied exclusively to heteronormative wives and women. This kind of mindset is passed from one generation to another. Act like a child, behave like an Indian wife, etc. We tend to blend everything with a pedigree to justify the erroneous action. Do we really need some kind of benefits out of it? Mindset is like a chain that is continued to be transferred from one generation to another generation, consciously or unconsciously. Let us break this bias by changing the mindset. So let me give you an example of mindset. One of the surveys conducted by NFHS asked the question, in your opinion, is the husband justified in hitting or beating his wife? You can see the result in the screen. The more worrying part is that 83% of the women tell that it is okay that men can beat their wives. This shows the distance that we need to travel together to realize the sustainable tomorrow. So I hand over to Vishnu.
Thank you, Lavanya. Absolutely, as Lavanya said, we need to traverse it all the way to bring that change. As my friends had explained on breaking the mindset, through education, we need to bring changes in understanding that symbols of gender inequality that are still prevailing in our society. For example, menstruation is still considered as a physical state of women where she is considered as impure, even in this modern world. During the menstruation cycle, these women are not allowed to do their household chores and attend social or religious ceremonies. And although sati has been abolished, widowhood is the most, rather the worst situation a woman can go through. And it can be put forth as a situation when a burden itself is considered as a reinforced burden. As a symbol of widowhood, the women undergo many symbolic rituals. Deprival at its peak, it can be said the other way. Perhaps a second thought about remarriage or a relationship is again considered a grave sin. Why do we, coming to a symbol of rather a portrayal, this is angel of justice that we see here, whose eyes are closed, having a sword in its right hand. And where is the male counterpart that we ask? Can we continuously close the eyes of our female counterpart? Or do we confine justice only to whom having a sword, dominant and strong? This time that we need a symbol that is more inclusive, untidy and blindfold, remove the sword from the hand and let man, woman and other genders be part of our effort for a sustainable tomorrow. And quoting from one of the reports of the World Economic Forum 2021, it says that it would take around 136 years of striving and continuous efforts to bring down the gap to zero. But we hustlers, rather we as a team, believe that it can be further reduced through our continuous efforts by people-centric approaches and starting from schools. At home through open interactions and from school through value-based educations. I would like to quote Gloria Steinem. We have begun to raise daughters more like our sons, but few have the courage to raise our sons more like our daughters. But we hustlers would like to reiterate it, saying that let's raise our sons and daughters like both sons and daughters. Why do we make a disparity there? And let me hand over it to Praveen now.
Hello, this is Praveen here. So if you see the picture that we were talking about, that the symbols of inequality that are present in many of the places that we see. So as hustlers, we thought what the symbols can we give to the presentation in itself. So all of us put our mind, we thought, okay, we go for drawing this kind of picture where we say, okay, there is also a man and a female and a transgender, other genders are present there. And there is no sword that is needed for getting justice, but the eyes of women and men must be opened so that each justice can be, or gender equality can be given to both of them. And thereby I conclude saying that all our efforts can be fulfilled by breaking the mindset up from the people, from from children to the old, can be established on earth. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Bye.
Thank you, team. Open to the judges, jury members.
Yeah, I'll go first this time. First of all, congratulations on an excellent presentation. The amount of thought and effort that has gone into it is very clear. And also the passion is very evident. in all of you, the way you spoke about the various aspects that you covered. It's also nice to see a larger social perspective, specifically from India, Kerala perspective, and some of the numbers that you had put there, which have come in the media, which we have all seen are, truly shocking, and it shows how much distance to cover. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the safety aspect for women, especially from the point of view of access to spaces, right? Today, if you're a boy, you can go in the evening and, sit on the beach, enjoy the waves and the sunset, and then hang around with friends and, wander back home at 9 o'clock. In how many places in Kerala or India can you do that? So, and is that a barrier in your view for equality or parity?
Yes, so I feel that as team, we feel it is a very barrier. It's one of the spaces women cannot go into. So let me take a Nirbhaya incident itself, right? After the Nirbhaya incident, all of us are well aware with the Nirbhaya incident, what happened. But afterwards, the rule came in saying, okay, so anyone who rapes the woman in public or anything, they will be hanged. They will be given the final contamination kind of thing. But afterwards, if you see the data, the rape cases are increasing. So what is that question all of us must think? It is law will be there. All that law can be made for the society and so on. But larger picture, when we see, it's the habit of each person that we must see. Habit, it does not form in a day. Habit forms for multiple times a person goes on watching that pornography, and a child is developing that kind of mind. And once he is 30 years old, 40 years old, and you say, go and say, you do change. It is not going to change it. Unless and otherwise, we have not taken effort saying in the school, what you're doing is right, not right. And the mind setup is changed from the school itself. Nothing is going to have an effect. The whole idea of ourselves is like, we can have any number of rules that is placed, maybe state level policies, central level policies. But what is actually happening is that the influence of media, influence of local people, the influence of friends, peer groups, and the circumstances the children are growing are affecting a larger part of it. Now, if you say India itself, we have got literate members, especially living in urban societies. Now, urban societies and rural societies, if you see, we also can see a lot of urban societies, this kind of thing, mindset is still there. Many people still, people cannot go into. Why? Is because of anything that is not taught in the school. We teach, we teach mathematics, we teach science, we need social science, and we expect that person to be doctor and all other things. But we somehow forget teaching these kind of things in the class, because of unless you teach, we cannot cull out that something from that children. And we cannot expect from the children saying, okay, you behave this honestly, you do not behave this way, you shouldn't have mindset up. How can we accept these things unless that are taught in the classroom?
Yeah, thank you. And before I go, I really like that the graphic on the last slide. Well done.
Thank you.
Hello, hello team. Am I audible?
Yes, you are very audible.
Yeah. Many higher education institutions and research organizations
Not audible.
eligibility.
Lost you, Dr. Marlo.
It's the last part, ma'am.
Yeah. Is it clear?
Yes.
Do you think it works?
What works, ma'am? We missed the complete.
Many higher education institution demands as a prerequisite for eligibility.
Eligibility for.
So without considering gender equality, you are not able to admit for a course. whether it works?
So as the present system, it is not workable as the present system is. Now let's again take into a consideration.
So what could be the steps that could be done in order to make it workable?
Yeah, workable. This I think how this can be workable is like, you know, as I feel. See, so let us take a small example. Let us take a particular school. They have got a curriculum for max for every week kind of thing, or every or for max or for science and all other things. Why don't we have a class for gender equality every week, at least once in a week, a 1 hour class for everybody, where we create a platform. It's not like teaching. I would say, like, for example, a max teacher cannot teach science. A science teacher may not be able to teach as efficiently as some other teacher on history. So we cannot expect the teacher to teach inequality, gender inequality or gender equality there. A well-versed psychology, a person who is literally authorized, or a person who is trained in that particular area, need to be assigned in each particular school, so that that person can do experiential learning in the platform itself. So it may not become a teaching kind of thing. It's kind of a facilitation kind of thing, where children open up their mind, and that platform will give a space for children to open up their mind and discussion than studying the course kind of thing. So the whole aspect what I am looking is like, where children speak out what actually happening in little matter experience. I'll give you one small example, ma'am. I'm a business analyst and in PITS Solutions, and one of my lead, her name is Divya, and she was asking, Praveen, what are you going to present this? Then I told, this is the topic that we are going to discuss. And what she was saying is, what you're telling is right. Because the other day my son came, who is studying on the 2nd standard, and he said, what he said, we had one competition, and my son said when he came home, mother, all these girls are very weak, you know, because of they are unable to cope up with some of the sports, and the mindset of a child saying that all these girls are very weak, they cannot compete with each other. And Divya, who is my lead, said, no, it is not that way, but her own way she treated it. So the whole idea, this is what we need to, what I think, it is the time for us to incorporate the curriculum into the schools, so that the future generation will be formed that kind of mindset. So we needn't wait for 136 years, as the report says, to wait for the gender inequality. We can realize within a couple of decades if we take globally that effort, starting from India.
Okay, do you have any idea to make people aware of gender equality through digital media?
Yes, so when we are saying about education, ma'am, we are not denying any other aspect. All other areas are, we are all saying, like, we need to work on media also, we need to work on gender equality. Since given time limit, we thought we will focus on 1 or 2 area, which will give a little comprehensive way. So when we are taking only education, we are not denying the other possibilities of making people aware of gender equality.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go next. Great presentation, team. And I echo what Subhashiv told. Your energy and enthusiasm and passion was very visible when you guys spoke, and loved the one which the graphics which you have put in the last slide. My question to all of you would be, and I also liked, all of you have put MX in your title. It looks nice to see that. The question to all of you is, what you guys as individuals or as a team who have come up for this presentation, what would be your mission going forward to make sure that this is a reality from here?
So first I will go,
yeah.
And others I will, suppose plainly take it from me, ma'am. Suppose if I am a son of Ambani, I would have not worked here. I would have invested that money in the schools and literally gone training people and done, at least take some schools and did the training. So that's my plain answers, and others from the team, please.
No one else to add? Okay. Do we really need money to train the team?
Yes, in the sense, like, ma'am, we need quality people, like, because of each child is very important, because of each child is the world. Because of in the classroom, we shouldn't forget there is a Hitler sitting there, a Putin sitting there. We shouldn't forget that, and that child is very important. So therefore, we need those people. So therefore, we need equipped people to do that. Any person who cannot go into, so if I'm a vocalist, I cannot go and teach keyboard, right? For example, so we need those people to be trained and sent to the schools. And therefore, corporate we used to, in the corporate fields, we have like CRS activities, like 2%, 3% we keep annually. I would suggest, if anyone is thinking about the education field, take this particular curriculum kind of thing and try to do in 1 or 2 schools continuously, not 1 day, 2 day. A 1 day program, 2 days program is like a morning dew. It just comes and goes. 1 day motivation, all of us know, 1 day someone gives motivation, that day, okay, man, nice, 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 nice. After 2 days, that motivation goes away. So that doesn't help to grow. It's the consistent learning in the classrooms that we take to the children. Gradually, we can see the changes that happening. So therefore, continuous, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, continuous interaction with children will really bring out some changes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I speak?
Yes, Vishnu.
Yeah. Just adding on to one more point, as we see into this gender inequality as a social evil or a problem, we consider it more as a mindset issue, as we have clearly expressed in our presentation. See, it exists only in those people's mind who try to discriminate people, maybe on the basis of gender, maybe on the basis of caste, creed, etc. If we don't see it that way, rather we see things from a different perspective, I totally don't see a problem of gender inequality anywhere. Because as the previous question was asked by Malu, where she asked, is there a way where we have to consider gender inequality while we consider people for a particular course or a job? But from my personal experience, I am a mechanical engineer. And when I did my graduation, it is a particular course where only most of the boys opt for it in Kerala. But when we talk about the situation in other states of India, we see that it is not the same way there, because more girls opt for mechanical engineering in other states as well. So from a Kerala perspective, it may be a situation like only boys opt for mechanical engineering. It's again just a mindset problem, and we don't have any big deals out there because we are doing mechanical engineering. It doesn't mean that we are doing some kind of mechanical work there. It's more of theories. It's about working with machines. The concepts that we learn. And if at all there are, I have personally experienced some situations where I was not able to maybe lift or pull a lever or maybe put a switch because I was physically not that strong. In such situation, of course, my friends out there had to help me. If at all a girl who is studying the same course may face such a problem, it can be done collectively. Then where do such a problem exist? So I don't totally agree with that statement. So if at all we collaborate and work together, such a thing can be eradicated. That's what we feel. And again, we stress on to the point saying that it is just a mindset problem, nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you for that. It's very, very inspiring and insightful listening to you. And we do have team 3 also on the call right now. So are you there? Yeah, Quest is here. Thank you so much for that. And we can move on to the third contestant, team 3. Your time starts now. The allocated time is 7 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for Q&A, but definitely we will give you a buffer for another 5 minutes. So ideally, we will wind up in the next 15-20 minutes. Thank you. Go ahead. All the very best.
One
We'll be starting the
question.
presentation.
One question before you start. Radhika, is it team 3 or team 4?
Team 4 coming in as team 3.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Team
Okay. I hope I'm audible. Just checking.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So hi, good evening all. We are a team of 3 representing Quest Global, and the team members are Anusha, Parvati, and myself, Shweta. And the topic that we're presenting on is gender equality today for sustainable tomorrow. I think there is a lag. Excuse us. Okay. So what is gender equality? According to the 7th Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, gender equality is not just a goal. It is a precondition to meet the challenges of reducing poverty and promoting sustainable development as well as good governance. In very simple words, it is the state in which access to rights or opportunities is unaffected by gender. In 2015, all United Nations member states came together and adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And in this list of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the 5th one is gender equality. The existing gender inequalities in our society is mainly due to its patriarchal system. The patriarchal society believes, follows, and teaches one major rule, which we all must have heard at some point, that men are the breadwinners and women are the housewives in a family. And India is still so far away from achieving gender equality because women in our country are still seen as a liability and a burden to pass on. And their first challenge is survival itself, very sadly. In 1994, our country banned sex determination tests and selective abortion, but it still continues in the shade. This not only affects the number of girl children being born, it also affects the health of the mother, since she has to go through consecutive pregnancies in the hope of having a boy. And these girl children also face multiple hurdles while trying to attain quality education because of safety concerns and also because of the outlook of our society towards girls getting higher education. So many of the teenage girls, they become irregular at school or they drop out before completing their schooling. Last year in 2021, a census was conducted across the country, and it was found that the male literacy rate was at 82.14% and the female literacy rate was at 65.46%. And that speaks volume. Another social evil which we are addressing here is child marriage. 27% girls in our country are married off before the age of 18, and 7% are engaged before the age of 15. And this is justified by saying that it's just an engagement and the marriage will happen way ahead in the future. But this itself is chaining the girl from achieving her dreams and going forward in her future. While many of the girls are breaking free from these shackles and fighting for their future, most of them are uh, still resigning to their ill fate, very sadly.
A change to the patriarchal system was brought about by globalization. Large-scale globalization began in the 1820s and led to rapid and significant human changes. As a result, people shifted their focus from agriculture to technology, and eventually the economy flourished. Women slowly began to seep into the male-dominated world, and thus education brought confidence and empowerment to women. The involvement of women in social, religious, and all spheres of life slowly gave women the courage to voice out their rights. Now, these are some of the fast facts of gender inequality that exist in the corporate world. Though men and women are doing the same amount of work, sadly, women are still earning vastly less than men. And one woman is killed by an intimate partner almost every week. And considering the leadership aspect, these are figures based on Australia. The percentage of women in the ASX board is 21.7%, and in the federal parliament, just 7 out of 30 ministers are women. The gender gap is a reality that companies must get rid of very soon. Because of the biased recruiting strategies of many companies, women are still not getting enough opportunities. Sexual harassment. Women are about 3 times as likely as men to experience sexual harassment in their workplace. Sexism, stereotyping, mocking, and saying women can't do specific jobs also are some major concerns. These are some of the statistics related to gender inequality in the workplace. According to the GGP index, India has dropped to the 140th position recently. And also the statistics shows that 57% of women have faced gender discrimination. The question here is, how can we make the workplace better for all employees, irrespective of their gender?
So to begin with the query of how do we start, recommendations to promote gender equality at workplace. So first of all, we understand fight stereotypes. So gender is not about a biological difference between the sexes, rather it's a social construct. People define what it is meant to be a boy or girl. These social conditionings often expect children to conform to specific and limiting gender roles and expectations from a very young age. Embrace diverse role models. Role models come in all shapes, sizes, gender, skin tones, and cultural backgrounds. Encourage your children to embrace diversity. Show them the role models from different genders, ethnicities, and culture. Hear me too. Let your children know that your family is a safe space for them to express themselves as they are, by affirming their choices, by reassuring them it's okay to be different. Use of technology to advance gender equality. Digital technology presents an opportunity to narrow gender gaps by enhancing access to welfare services, financial services, and information. Let's see how we can eradicate it from the corporate world. Educate everyone about unconscious gender bias, making sure that your organization knows what gender bias looks like, how to avoid it. Also make it clear that the gender bias works for both ways and not only to a particular gender. Appoint a diverse recruitment team. While selecting certain words to convey a role or a responsibility to, often done with a little intent towards gender. Promote a better work-life balance for both the genders. Conduct timely audits and make salaries transparent. Provide flexible work opportunities. Flexible work opportunities are no longer beholden. It encompasses a range of flexibility that includes widely remote accesses with the current working offers. Provide equal learning and developmental opportunities. Mentoring relationship can pair either of the gender queer with senior leaders or colleagues who can brighten their steps for their next promotion or transition. Let's see how we are sowing our seeds for the better future. As you all know, the Kerala government has introduced a gender-neutral uniform in a government school in Balusheri for the students. The kids are now wearing pants and shirts as part of this initiative.
The Gender Park, established in 2013, is an initiative of the government of Kerala to work towards gender equality and empowerment in the state. In 2015, the Indian government introduced the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme. The name itself translates to save the girl child, educate the girl child.
Again, in the year 2015, under Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao program itself, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana was also launched. This gives the children, female children, basically the financial stability and prosperity to move on in life. And in the year 2013, succession to the Crown Act came into being under the UK Parliament. And this gives both male and female offspring equal rights to the line of succession. And that happened very recently.
So let's look at the technology using. By using social media as a main technology, by spreading awareness, we are sowing the seeds for the future. So let's all welcome for a future, for a gender neutral future. And before I end, gender equality is a human fight and not a female fight, by Frida Pinto. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
thank you for that. Over to the jury.
Yeah, so I'll go first. Hi, this is Lenika. Thank you, team. Excellent presentation. Is there any one thing that you all would recommend that we should do to get to gender equality? What should we do?
We should.
Yeah, sure. Please go.
Okay. I believe that we should be also explain that in our slides that it should start from the roots. We all must have noticed that as the generation goes ahead with every upcoming generation, their ideology on gender equality is changing. I mean, in the generation that I grew up, people are more and more believing that men and women have equal rights. So I grew up seeing girls receiving as much education as boys are, or even more, yeah, I would say. So in the previous generation, that was not the case. So these seeds have to be sown. This eradication has to start from the root. Work needs to be done from the foundation. So if you teach your children that, if children get to interact with all genders, like keeping children separate while traveling in school buses, I've heard of that. Drawing lines between girls and boys, and relating blue with boys and pink with girls, to the point that boys cannot wear anything pink. And I've heard them getting hateful comments on that. And these things need to stop. And these things just don't come to your mind automatically. This must have been at some point, you heard it from someone, you heard some hateful comment, and you decide that pink is not for me. So this has to stop. Children has to be kept away from these so we can improve.
So to add on to what Shweta mentioned, so as you all know, right from the birth of a kid, like from the hospital, if it's a girl baby, you get the kid wrapped in the pink dress, pink blanket. If it's a boy baby, it's a blue. Right from there itself, there is a bifurcation, and when you hear kids, the parents say, "Don't cry like a girl."
I think Anusha is stuck.
Yeah,
so I think what Anisha was trying to say is the same point that I said, that don't cry like a girl is something that I've also heard, probably my parents telling my brother. So yeah, that also has to stop. That's also part of what I said. Children need to be educated, and they should get quality, like from school itself. They should be educated, and they should be taught that this is how it is. This is how we can make the world better for all genders, for all human beings, irrespective of gender.
I think we have to mute someone here.
Yes.
In this case, how do you lose that you have muted already?
Yeah, sure, Shweta. Thank you. I think we can move on. Yes, please. Hello.
I'll go next.
Yes, please.
Thanks. Great presentation, team. One question. See, we all talk about starting from the roots, educating the children from the beginning, changing the mindset, etc. So what is the biggest deterrent that we see if it is that simple, educating the child, and we can make such a large difference in the society? Why are we not able to achieve this now, and what steps can we take? We as an each one of us have to take some steps, right? I'm sure all of us are taking some step or the other in ways we can. But as Ms. Linika asked, what are the steps we can take collectively to ensure that, life or the scene is better for all of us?
Yeah, Anisha can continue.
Yeah, so as mentioned, like how we can stop it. So as mentioned in my slide, it talks about fighting stereotype. You need to consider the whole embracing the diversity. So you don't have to say, don't play with black kids, don't play with white kids, or you don't play with the boy. All these kind of differences makes a lot of thought processes in the kids' mind. There was a video which recently showed to kids asking, there was a picture of a white woman and a black woman, and asked who is good among this. And the kids said the black woman's photo is she's a bad person. When they asked why do they refer black, they said according to them, they feel black as bad.
and you ask kids regarding what do you think women are not good. So then there was a kid who said there are kids, he said women are not good in sports. So they kept telling all in things where they could relate during their childhood. And that is happening because there are elders who are talking that, they're hearing their elders talk about it. They come across all these scenarios where they say girls and boys and there's a separation there. So all these things, that the fact itself, the separation has to stop, and we should stop it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. I think, do we have any more questions for the team from the panel? And if Parvati can stop share the PPT, then we can all come on screen. Yeah, thank you. Any more questions from the panel, jury?
I think we're good. No more questions, looks like. Subhash, any questions or no?
No questions. Yeah.
Okay. Any?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. So thank you so much to the participants who have presented today, their thoughts, their views, their best practices, some ideas. And I'm sure, while putting this together, you've also learned in the process, and that's also the benefit of coming for something like this. But a very special thank you to our jury members for making the time, spending such valuable time with all of us, letting these young minds speak and share. We look forward to seeing you again on March 2nd for the next set. Yeah, we are on a roll. Thank you.
Come back, all the teams that you have presented today, come back and watch and cheer the teams that are lined up for Wednesday. See you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
The recurring meeting.
Everybody, welcome to day 2. Yeah. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of our on-stage presentations. These presentations have been shortlisted from a list of people who have applied to make their voices heard. So they've sent us their presentations in advance. We've gone through and selected, 8 presentations, and we had 3 of the groups present 2 days ago, and 4 of them presenting today. One team, unfortunately, decided to back out. No worries. We will see if we can still bring them on board another day, but let's start for today. So I'm really excited. We have the best of the best panelists as well. So I'll just share the slide. Thankfully, we have a deck very nicely prepared by the organizing team. So thank you, team, first of all. So we are Women Inclusive in Technology. We've been working in this space for the last 10 plus years. Initially, our name used to be called EVIT Trivandrum. November 1st, 2021, we are renamed to Be Women Inclusive in Technology. So this year, IWD, as usual, we're partnering with NASSCOM for the Excellence Awards. And this year, this particular session, the theme is based on the UN theme, Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. We're very happy to present to you our jury members. So Annie from Technopark, she's the HR head. Bindu from the Managing Director, Kerala State Women Development Corporation. Dr. Malaji, who is the Innovation Head, Digital University Kerala. Linika, I know from regional head you've moved. Sorry, we still have regional head here. You've moved to become DEI lead for NASSCOM, and Subhash, who's the founder Trinity Skillworks. So this is our panelists, and they will be evaluating your presentations. We have one more panelist, Arunima, who's the Vice President Strategy from Wells Fargo. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it today, but she will be reviewing the recording and giving her comments as well. So yeah, we're all set. And this is the screenshot of last presentations. And today, before we start, again, I will, request everybody to switch on their cameras so that we can take a snap. But this is the schedule. We have 4 teams. Each team gets 20 minutes, which includes Q&A. Of course, since we're starting a little late, there will be a little 10 minutes delay in the program. So hope everybody can stay back and listen to the thoughts being shared on this very important topic. And we brought this on stage presentations to give a platform to organizations and individuals specifically to share their thoughts and views on how they can make a change and how we together can make a change. So we're excited to invite 2 teams from Alliance, 1 team from Nortel, and 1 team from PITS today. Okay? Right, and I'm going to stop share and request everybody to switch on. Oh, Radhika, I think video will not be able to, right? I think we won't be able to.
Yeah, we will add the co-host.
Yeah, so at least the panelists, if you're okay to switch on your video for now. Have they been made co-hosts yet?
Yes.
Okay.
And
rest of you, we will take your names or, if you have a display picture, that will be on the thing. So as they say, once bitten, twice shy. We've learned our lesson. So we're being ultra careful this time in terms of the cybersecurity and ensuring that we have no disruptions in the program.
Is Prerna a team member? She's a co-host now.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm part of Nadi's team. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Malu and Bindu ma'am, can we have your videos? I don't know whether there's an issue with my network.
Yeah, I think we lost Aditi. She should be back soon.
I'm back.
Super.
I'm back. Okay, so may I click a photo, please?
So.
Okay, so I think we're ready. We'll move. Radhika, are you also taking a few?
I did.
Okay. Okay, so we're ready to go. So the first team from Alliance, the Spock is Nidhi Venuji. And I think Prerna, Jubi, Shilpa, and Visha. Oh, hi.
Hi, Aditi.
Nice surprise. Okay, great, wonderful. So over to you all, and all the very best. We start at 4:42, so you have 7 minutes for your presentation. Thank you.
Sorry, we've just got a message from Nidhi, so she's finding it a bit challenging to unmute herself. So just a moment.
Sure, we'll make sure that she gets the rights.
Yeah, thank you.
Kripa or Preeta, would you just make sure that Nidhi is able to? Yeah, I think she's now able to do it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, I can't start my video for some reason. It's not allowing me to start my video.
I think it takes us a bit of a time because everybody we've been able to unmute first, and then after that will be the video start.
Maybe can you please try now?
It says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Yes, you're a co-host now. Try again, please. So just check if all the team members are able to come on video.
I think
Yeah,
we
your
can.
video is working.
You're good.
You're audible.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So I'll share my screen. Vishak, are we ready? Vishak?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready. If everybody is ready.
Okay, then we can start.
All right. So good evening, everyone. First of all, thanks a lot for giving us an opportunity to present today. So we represent Allianz Services India, and we are attempting to present what we feel is a pressing topic, which we need to address, which is the transgender equality. So being transgender today is unreasonably hard, but it is far from hopeless. So transgender people come from all walks of life. So it is our humble attempt to draw insights to transgender equality and a handful of pragmatic proposals to ensure sustainability. So it's my pleasure to introduce my colleagues, Jubi, Prerna, Niti, Shilpa, and myself, Vishak. Over to you, Niti.
Thank you, Vishak. So before we dive into the topic, let us first understand what is transgender. Transgender is about gender identity. Some people feel that the sex they were assigned at birth is not who they are or who they feel they are from inside. It is different from sexual orientation. Sexual orientation is about who you want to be with or who you're attracted to. Gender identity is about who you are. So, transgender inequality is the unequal protection received by transgender people at work, school, or even the society in general. The inequalities faced by the trans community are numerous and not limited to the ones mentioned here, but definitely include marginalization, social exclusion, harassment, transphobia, leading to them not being able to find jobs and poor economic conditions. My colleague Shilpa will take you through why this issue still exists. Over to Shilpa.
Thanks, Nidhi. So why do we have this issue? This is something which starts right from birth. Whenever a child is born sexually different, they are handed over to the transgender community. And there the child is growing up without any national identity number. So we can see this is why they remain uneducated and unemployed. So in order to earn their livelihood, they indulge in begging and even work as sex workers also. So this is the identity and economic issue. Apart from this, it is also due to the religious belief that this trans community people are meant only for specific professions such as dancers or domestic servants. We can see like there was some change to this. Like in 2017, Kerala Metro employed around 23 transgenders. But there also 9 of them left immediately because they could not find a place to sleep in the city. So these are the issues related to transgender. Now I'll hand over to Prerna to see how we can ease these issues. Over to you, Prerna.
Thank you, Shilpa. So far, we've been seeing what are challenges faced by the transgenders. Now, we will talk about what can be done to ease these issues. To start with, as a first step, we can provide them adequate medical facilities. We can also provide awareness on importance of education. At the same time, we can try to provide them cost-free education. And the another issue which I'm going to talk about is the major challenge which is faced by them is the unemployment. As we all know, inclusion and diversity policies are globally introduced in all the organizations. We can reserve some quota for them and provide equal opportunities. Moving on to the next, which is yet another important thing, we can also increase neutral washrooms, just not to treat them separate, but to provide them comfort and safety. Awareness on trans community on social media platform will be yet another good thing. Last but not the least, providing support as part of our organizational CSR activities will definitely help them. A small step from each one of us can help them to survive better. With that, I'll hand it over to Jubi. Thank you.
Thank you so
Jubi,
much for it. Thanks, Prerna. So for a sustainable tomorrow, we have a few points which we like to cover. So we all know that great communication helps us in building great relationships. So for a brighter future, it is really important that we all learn how to communicate with transgenders. I'm sure we all would have faced issue on addressing them. So it is always a good idea to use the language a transgender person uses for themselves. And if you don't know what to use, please ask them. I'm really sure they won't mind explaining that to you. We need to be very careful and considerate about what are the questions we normally ask. The second most important point is education and learning. We need to provide guidance and training to teachers and counselors on how to deal sensitively with LGBT students and also students who are questioning their sexual orientation. We need to make sure that all teaching curriculum are LGBT inclusive, and also transgender community needs to be educated on all their legal rights. Last but not the least, trans people face a lot of challenges both from their relatives and from their system in staying safe from sexual harassment, assault, and other dangers. One thing we all can do for a transgender equality is to make our system safer for trans people by having proper acts and rights in place by government. That's all from my side. Over to you, Vishak. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Juby. So theoretically, we have now covered all the aspects, like starting from the inequality to steps for sustainability. But always remember, actions speak louder than the words. So here we would like to propose the most important part. How can we implement? For that, we have now selected our own workplace. So we attempt to cover every aspects from a top to a granular level, right from the recruitment through exit process. So starting with the recruitment and onboarding, it is very important to have a gender neutral job description and also conduct various campaigns for transgender hiring and practices which will boost the whole community. And due importance should be given to the existing employees because it's with the existing employees where they're going to work. So they need to be sensitized and made aware through training programs and interactive sessions. So employee development is one of the key aspects for our employees, and the transgender people or the trans population is no different. So conscious effort needs to be made for having an inclusive career development framework, which in no way is discriminating the whole population. So talking about retention and also the engagement. So we have touched base on that, like the basic infrastructure, like a gender neutral restroom, encouraging pride teams, alive forums within the organization, and that can definitely help the empowerment and the sustainability. So there are some of the tested and proven events, like conducting trivia quiz sessions, like celebrating the international and national events like Pride Month celebration, International Women's Day celebration, International Men's Day, etc. And of course, the forum which we are discussing right now also form a part of it. So exit stage is not just the end, but it is always important to continuously improve. And in one way, we can achieve this through conducting exit surveys, where we can do a gap analysis and basically understand where exactly we are lacking and identify the improvement areas. So we would like to conclude. So if at all there is one thing that can happen from our presentation today, someday we will see a poster of a competition where it says that the participating teams should have all genders. So thanks a lot for your valuable time, and we are open for questions. Thank you.
Okay, Vishak, it's to you. Annie here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Annie.
I would like to know, you were telling about onboarding and interviewing and all those things. Have you taken a real step to equalize men and women, or whichever gender is equalizing them? Have you ever taken that? I mean,
So
company. I mean, your company.
yeah. So we have conducted as an organization various events which were pretty much focused on, for example, last Women's Day, we've had a Women's Day only walk-in sessions and related activities, and we have recruited people from that particular walk-in session. So even though I was not an actual participant in taking the interview, but I also took part in referring a lot of my women colleagues. So yes.
What is the rate of your gender in your office?
So for example, so we look at the yardstick like IMIX, which is a yardstick which we use to measure, and on a team basis also we look at the inclusivity metrics. So so we are more than 40% as a team. So as an organization, I don't have the data to present, but from a team level or even from a pillar level inside the organization, we make sure that we stick on to that particular target, and we make sure that if we are not actually reaching there, why exactly we are not reaching there, and take the steps to that. And the simple answer to that is yes, we have the yardstick, and we aim to stick on to that. And as of now, it's looking really healthy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And moving on to, yes, Subhash.
Yeah. Hello, Vishak and team.
Hi, Subhash.
Interesting presentation. Even though the topic was about gender equality, you focused on the transgender sliver of the spectrum. I'd like to know why you chose that rather than a broader interpretation of gender equality. And second, would you be having any data or information on what is the transgender representation in IT jobs in Technopark or Kerala or in your company?
Thanks a lot, Subhash, for the question. So so we tried to take the data, and one of the data which is from a verified source, what we could understand is that there are close to 3,900 transgenders in Kerala. And unfortunately, we couldn't get a proper or something that can be signed off as a proper data on an IT sector, how many transgenders are working. But we did the research, and on to the other part of the question, why exactly this topic? Because see, there has been a lot of traction that has been given to the other topics. I'm not telling that has already reached a matured level, but it is very important right from the grassroots level we address the transgender population also. So even if we simply take the example of the articulation people use in meeting or in a public forum, they'll say he or she, but it's not just he or she. There is a population which is much larger, which belongs to another part. So it's all right, we don't know about it, but it is we are just trying to make a humble effort to actually touch base on that, so that there is another population that is already there, and they are no different from others, and they deserve equality, and there needs to be a conscious effort that needs to be taken place. So that is solely the reason.
Thank you, Vishak. Thank you.
No problem.
Congratulations, team, for this wonderful presentation. My question is, how will you succeed to attain gender equality by celebrating an event like Women's Day? You got it? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay. You got the question?
Yes, your question is how are we going to enhance maybe gender equality by celebrating these kind of events?
Yeah.
So basically, when we are normally working in a normal work culture, we don't get much of opportunity to drill into these kind of stats or these kind of issues. But once we have events like this, we get into it. We have several meetings to understand that what all are the issues we all are facing, or as a woman, or as a transgender, or as a man for that matter. We try to dig in and understand a lot of numbers, lot of issues. How can we resolve it? So there is a lot of brainstorming sessions we undergo when we have these kind of presentation and these kind of events. So I think this is a wonderful platform, and even when it comes to this topic which we have choose, we have done like weeks of research, and we learned a lot about transgender and how we can do a lot of things to enhance their life as well. So I think that would be my answer for this question.
How will you reach the people that who are not able to celebrate these events? Is it possible?
Yes, definitely we can like Vishak said in one of the points, we have a lot of social media platforms, and I'm sure a lot of people go watch TV, or social media platform is something which most of everyone, almost 80% of the population uses that. So we can always use those kind of platform to reach out to people and educate them, or share our knowledge base. So social media platform would be the easiest way to share, and also would be the right way to do it nowadays, rather than maybe a newspaper or TV channels.
Okay, that's good. But what about the 20%, remaining 20%?
20. Yeah.
Yeah. So Malu, maybe I'll just try. So whenever the communication or the reach is in question, I think there needs to be an integrated approach to that. For example, Juvi has mentioned about a social media platform. Then you have TV, and there are a lot of sources which we can actually communicate. And of course, so based on some studies, we came to understand that there is a 20% of population where this communication has not reached. So I think there is no right or wrong answer to that. So I think people like us, volunteers like us, will have to actually maybe go to their doorstep and maybe educate them, or it can be just a spark. Maybe it may not happen overnight. Maybe it's a conscious decision which we may have to do it from grassroots level. For example, I am aware of some of the debate competition which has done by this particular forum from the school level. So yeah, so that means we are touch basing the future of tomorrow, which is the kids of today. So I think that is one of the most powerful way to do it. And of course, once we make it integrated, I think the word of mouth is one of the most powerful medium. And I think through that way also, I think we can ensure a good level of success.
Okay, thank you. But we should take care of the remaining 20% also. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
Thank you.
For sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Shakanti.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to know, I mean, actually, I want to have a clarification from your team. Are you suggesting a gender neutral hiring policy for your organization?
So my answer would be, we need not have to write these things on stones. But for example, we can talk about our organization. So we are a proud organization where the different forums, like as I mentioned, there is an ally forum, there is a pride team. We have at the organization level as well as the team level, and basically we are encouraged to come up with suggestion for this, and probably we can share the best practices out of it. So maybe it may not be practically possible to write a rule that you need to do that, but probably we might reach that particular point. But from my understanding, the pragmatic and the easy win would be to have these forums and encourage these forums to be built in organizations, so that these teams can come up with suggestions, and the management can actually have a review of that. And we have done a lot of activities which has actually been fruitful. So if you ask me, my suggestion would be to encourage the decentralized forums inside the organization to come up with plans, and then try it out and see how we are succeeding, and then understand the learnings, and then actually do a retrospective and then do it again. So that would be my suggestion. So it is always good to have that.
Okay, it's your team suggestion for more inclusivity, like, is it?
Yes, that is one of the suggestions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And so I can see Lenika, would you have
Yeah.
a question? Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Radhika. So the team on gender equality and specifically the conversation on LGBT plus, what is that one thing that the organizations should do to make them feel inclusive?
Hi, Linika. So what we would suggest is to not have a specific, like we suggested something like gender neutral bathrooms. So that is not specific to any gender. So that is how we would think of having something for being more inclusive. Plus, we also conduct more. We could conduct more awareness sessions and use pronouns. All these things we could do to make our organization more inclusive. And
I will
we
just
already have.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Nidhi.
Okay, so we already have some inclusion and diversity allies and pride allies, and we would like to continue that and create more awareness within our teams as well. We also send out mailers to our team to educate them and make them more aware of what this community is about, and we would like to continue to do that as well.
So I'll just share a thought with you. There was this interview where the employee basically said that, when the recruiter was sharing that in our organization, we do this, we have gender neutral policies, we have gender neutral infrastructure, we have mentorship, coaching, supporting you to get used to the environment of the organization. And he said that you are already excluding me. You are already telling me that you need to do these 10 things in your organization to make me feel included. So I am already excluded. Do you get where am I coming from?
Right.
So
yes.
the question and the journey today, and I don't know if you want to answer it now, but the important thing to think through on some of these aspects is, how do we include them? And by narrating all of this, not exclude them. Exactly what I heard, I think Malu saying that when we want to be gender equal, why do we want to celebrate Women's Day, right? Same thing. We are already spotting this and saying, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this.
So just one of my thought, like when we were a child or when we were growing up, we never understood who are transgenders, or we never had those concept or understanding of. But now we are in a phase where we now understand that they are also just like us. They are no different, and there is lot of learnings and lot of activities which is going on an everyday basis. So I think in future we will reach a stage. I think very soon we will reach a stage where we don't have to consider them, like you correctly said, we don't have to consider them any different, and we will have a neutralized, like just like men or women, we will have transgenders as well. But I think it will take some time because we all are learning and there is a lot to learn about them, and eventually we will reach that stage for sure. That's just my thought here.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just one more point which I thought of adding to Linika, maybe because there needs to be a beginning or a start to everything, and probably the point which you have made came into relevance because we have consciously started talking about this, and we are trying to market that we are doing this, and then we realize that okay, we are doing this, but still through this process we are actually excluding them. I think that is also a particular learning out of it, but I completely agree to that point.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good one. And then it was a very interesting topic. So definitely we have seen a lot of questions being asked. And then it is time to move on to the next team. Team number 2. Can we have Devu and Nitya Prem? Devu Sukumar and Nitya Prem.
Yes, Radhika, we are ready.
Okay, so would you like to come on video so that
I am on video. Hope you can see me as well.
Let me just try. Yes, found you there. And we have Nitya.
Yes, that's me.
Hi, I'm Devu. I'm the teammate with Nitya. Can you hear me?
Yes, Devu. You are audible. Radhika, can we start?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Your time starts now. All the best.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Edith, for the opportunity. I'm Nitya Prem, and I have with me Devu Sukumar, and we represent Alliance Services. So as we start, let's meet 3 characters, and the first one is Asha, and she hails from a coastal region in Tamil Nadu, and she's a flood victim, and she is in a relief camp with minimum facilities with other people. So the limited facilities in the relief camp, as you know, has serious impact on health and hygiene, especially on women and children. And she's prone to many infectious diseases, and unavailability of proper food results in anemia and nutrition deficiency as well. And next we will meet Kamla. And she's 35 years old, and she's married and the mother of 2 kids. And due to a recent earthquake, she was left with no house, and she lost her parents and a child. And due to all these situations, her husband has turned alcoholic and doesn't take care of the daily needs of the family. And it has become a challenge for her, and she's unable to fulfill the medical expenses and unable to meet both the ends. And she's barely educated as well. And she's a typical example of women who are struggling to meet basic needs. And the third character is Bhanu. She's from Rajasthan. As you all know, uh, in Rajasthan, it's they have difficulties in, the water scarcity is there. And they have to travel kilometers to fetch water. And with these hardships around, Manu is forced to stop her education, and she started helping her mother in procuring water for meeting daily needs. And there is no school in her village as well or nearby, so that she's unable to continue her education, and she starts working at a very young age. And what we are trying to say is this is not only the story of Asha, Kamla, and Banu, and the story is not different for women across the globe. And women are increasingly recognized as more vulnerable due to these climate changes more than men, as they constitute the majority of the world's poor and more dependent on natural resources with climate change, and that threatens the most. And we also have some data. So according to the data from World Bank, women constitute 50% of the extremely poor population in the world. And out of this, 44% are girl children who are in extreme poverty condition. And this is because in a poor family, they have less food, education, and less resources are invested in girl children, women, and also people with disabilities. And also let us have a look at how the climatic changes or disasters disproportionately affect women and children. If I start with poverty, uh, when you are facing poverty, you are not able to contribute equally, and financially you are not able to meet the demands. The chances of domestic violence and alcohol abuse increases, and this leads to suicidal tendencies as well. Health and hygiene is one another factor, as we have seen in the case of Asha. In relief camps, women and girl children are the most affected. And next one is young girls start working at a very young age due to poverty. Their education is affected and they stop their studies. And as a recommendation, so we are mentioning here that women needs to be a part of the forum, or when they need to be a part while creating those policies and more involvement in decision making at various levels. For example, from a government level, at an NGO level, and the community level, etc. And next, let's see how empowering women can build a sustainable future. So let me hand it over to Devu to take it from here.
Thank you, Nitya. And I'll start with one of these slogans back from 1970s. Soil is ours, water is ours are these forests. Our forefathers raised them, and it is we who must protect them. This was a song very popular from the Chipko movement. I think many of you have already heard about this Chipko movement. Just a quick recap on that. In Karwar Himalayan region of Uttarakhand, deforestation was rampant due to commercial logging, which resulted in environmental degradation. The villagers, especially the women, understood that it is because of the logging that there is a drastic deficiency on natural resources from the forest, and they play a key role, in the daily sustenance of the villages. So the Chipko movement, led by the women of Uttarakhand, was not really a conservation movement per se. It was actually a movement to demand the rights of local communities on the local resources. Sunita Narayan, the director of Center for Science and Environment, says that the movement explains that it's not the poverty that brings in the pollution. It is the extraction and the exploitative economies that is the biggest polluters. Going forward, there were so many other activities like the Chipko movement that happened all over the world in different eras. The latest one of them being again in Jharkhand, which is the Save the Forest activity, which was similar to this. And there also what we saw is that people were actually fighting for their sustenance, their living. So this environmentalism by the women and children is some way called the empty belly environmentalism, and that is what the historian Ramachandra Guha also says, that this is also because the reason why women and children should be in the forefront for fighting for the environment and fighting for sustainability. They agitate against the land and other resources because they want to protect their livelihood and dignity, their identity and culture. This is some of the data from the UN. Women represent only 25.6% in national parliaments, 36.3% in local governments, and 28.2% in managerial positions in all organizations. And the violence against women has unacceptably high and intense during the pandemic. 1 out of 3 women in the whole world have undergone in some kind of physical abuse or mental abuse in their lifetime. So why this is happening? Because there is a difference, and this gap has to be filled, and this can be done mainly by bringing in women and children in the forefront. Why women should be here, have equal access and control over natural resources? That is one of the reasons. And women and children are effective and powerful leaders and change makers for climate adaptation and mitigation. We have so many examples, from Greta Thunberg to Anshula Khan, the Manager Director and Chief Finance Officer of the World Bank, who is working. These are some of the names who are working for bringing up sustainability a main factor in the decision making. And it is essential to identify contributions and examine opportunities and empower women. Without gender equality today, a sustainable tomorrow is not possible. So we'll look at what is in place now. There are numerous non-profit organizations that work together to reduce the gender gap. And the UN has created 17 sustainable development goals to be fulfilled by 2030 to fill this gap. And the foundation of this goals is the gender equality for the future and the further development of these goals. Among these goals, goal number 5 is gender equality, and it clearly gives importance to women and children, and to bring them in the forefront and give them equal opportunity in anywhere. With the pandemic, this achievement has been a little slowed down, but we have to even more work together to bring up this and come to a fulfillment in 2030. So what is already in place again? I'll start from what is in the local that we know on a day-to-day basis. One of them is Kudumbashree, that I think everybody in Kerala especially is familiar with. This organization is a revolutionary one. It has made the neighborhood groups brought the money, I would say the economy, into the women's hands. It made them the decision makers of their house. It made them possible for the children to study. It made them possible to bring in organic food to their homes with these groups. While preparing for this, one of the examples that came into my mind is the movie called How Old Are You?, where the women actually came together to bring together the terrace organic farming, so that they can fight against the adulterated vegetable that is coming from outside the state. That is one just example that came into my mind, which is a very good example, so to speak. Another one is the cooperative societies that we have from almost for a long time in Kerala, especially. And this also helps in bringing people together to use the local resources, protect them, and have control over the local resources, natural resources. Agriculture, housing, and product, etc. are some of the activities that the societies take care of. Going on an international level, the African Adaptation Program, this is addressed for women's role in climate change in Nigeria, and they boost their skills and knowledge with regard to the climate change impact, policy, financing, and negotiations. They focused on developing women's leadership and key government ministries related to climate change. Climate smart agriculture in Kenya is also helping the women in Kenya to improve yield and income, and bring in climate smart agriculture, and thereby help the dairy farmers incorporate these activities. So even though these are in place, we are far behind in getting there. So one of the call to actions is develop policies to address climate change that recognize gender equality, gender impact, provide women with access to resources, and give them opportunity to participate in mitigation and adaptation program process. Most relevant for governments, civil societies, and United Nations and private sector. Ensure key decision makers understand that environmental degradation and climate change affect women differently than men. That is what Nitya had started with. And the third one is invest in technologies and initiatives to enhance sustainable reusable energy resources, and reflect women's knowledge, needs, and roles in incorporating indigenous expertise and traditional practices. Coming from a corporate world, we can also incorporate a few organizations can make sure that the leadership has equal women representation. I would say equal all gender representation. Maintain hiring policies which ensure that women with career gap and people with disabilities are given opportunities to join the organization. Encourage CSR activities to empower these people and young generations and children and people with disabilities. Invest in long-term leadership of women by training, funding, and providing network to support. To end with, I would say two main activities that we can think of is when women thrive, the earth thrives, and invest in women to unlock the future. I would finish with one story from Leah from Indonesia. She has been protecting the native mangrove area in East Java from 2005. She and his neighborhood relay in this mangroves, but overfishing and illegal logging has put the entire ecosystem at risk. Leah has, with the help of an NGO, started his project and technical design and technical skills, connected with other grassroots women leaders, and awarded a grant to grow her work. Now, Leah has been encouraging 5,000 members of her local women's group in forest conservation, restoring and protecting 131 hectares of coastal and inland forest, educating local children in their environmental school, and training over 100 locals in ecotourism, 80% of whom were once forest encroachers. For Leah, protecting her forest means protecting her communities future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nitya and Devu. And then it is now time for the panel questions. And we have all the jury members here on the screen. And I'm just expecting the jury to unmute and then possibly come on video and ask the question. Thank you. I hope there is no technical glitches and you are able to unmute. Thank you, Subhash.
Good presentation, Nitya and Devu. I have no questions really. I think you've made everything clear. I just wanted to, comment on the storytelling approach that you've taken, which is quite nice. And all the best to you.
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. Bindu ma'am, please go ahead.
Hi, Devu and Nitya. I just want to, I just want to congratulate you. You have beautifully depicted some data, examples. It's good. But let me know how you or your personal life relate to this year's theme, gender equality for a sustainable tomorrow. Can you tell me?
Yeah, I can give an example. It's a small example from my home. So my mother comes from a family where she had 13 siblings. Okay. So every time food is made, the larger chunk goes to the men. And then what is left over will be eaten by the women, even the mother and the children. I'm talking about my mother who's nearing 65. So when it came to my generation, it changed. And I would say it changed in such a way that I could probably get a little bit better food, so to speak. But I'm thinking of a very controversial statement that Rima Kalingal made, that she didn't get the fried fish. But that is true. That is true. It might find it trivial, but that's true that, the quality food that would go to the men in the family, and then it would, what is left over would come to me, to maybe the women. But when I am raising my two sons, I make sure that there is no difference that I give to them, or my husband, or my mother, or my father. So that is the education that I have got, or maybe that is the education that my husband and my parents have been getting to make my children also understand that this is how people should be treated. This is how everything should be given, even if it's a food, even if it's a toy, or even if it's as big as chances of good education, it should be equally given. So I think that is the difference that has come up throughout the year, and that is the kind of equality I would like to see in the next generation as well.
Okay. Any thought about, sexual minorities?
Definitely, yes. So I was hearing what the other team was speaking, and we come from the same organization, and we know what's happening in the organization. My personal thought is that like you said, you shouldn't call anybody other. You might not know what is going inside a certain person, if whether he is a he or a she or what transgender. Treat them as a human being and treat them as what they are, and then they'll be happy. When I say they, it include everybody. A man, a woman, a transgender, a homosexual, whoever it is. So it's the same. It doesn't change. for me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And so, for the interest of time, do we have one more question? Yeah, and then we will move to the next team. Thank you.
Somebody going ahead?
Linika has opted.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we will come to you also, Annie.
So Annie, you can go ahead. I'll ask later. No problem.
Okay. Actually, it was a great presentation, a beautiful one. I would like to congratulate both the team members of Alliance. And the reply with the story, which reminded me of my childhood. So it's actually on the spot you're given about it. I would like to check on one thing, Devu. We say gender equality. There's no differences between. Are there any inhibition made by the other genders? Are they happy with what they are getting, or are they really demanding for what do you think?
Okay, I would like to put it in a different way, that there used to be a majority and there used to be a minority. We have come to a stage where the majority would be called as the men, or maybe the he and she and the other. The he and she is also going through a different way, different approach, or maybe a different phase where they actually don't know how to react to certain things. So for example, if somebody is confronting a transgender, they actually don't know how to react to them. So that is the kind of phase change that we have reached, and this flux will be there, and it will take a time where it will change, and then we don't have that inhibition, or we don't have that question in our mind that am I doing it correct? There will be a time that will also come. So that is what I think. It's not just, of course, the minority is still having issues, but then there is another side where people are trying to include the so-called other. I would not say them other, but still there is an internal struggle for them to also understand how to understand the inclusion better. That's what I think.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, team. And then we will go to the 13th.
I think Linika ma'am wanted to ask a question. Are we asking now or later?
Yeah. So what is that one message that you are trying to communicate through your presentation? Is it break the bias? Or what is that? Break the glass ceiling, break the barrier? What is that one message you are wanting to communicate?
Nitya, would you like to answer?
No, you can add any points if you want to. So the message what we have conveyed through our presentation is, like we say, it is happening now, but then we would like to see more. For example, like in the call to action, like we mentioned, while from the decision making level itself, we would like to see women participation, which is very less, and as per the data also. So that is one message that we would like to convey.
So who's this message for? Is this the message for the women, or is it the message for the supporting environment? Who is this message for? Who is responsible for the change? Is the women responsible, or the environment supporting women responsible for the change?
I think all of us, not only women, whoever is supporting women also, they are also responsible. It is not exclusively for women, but then it is for all of us.
Okay. Devu, you want to add?
Yes, I would say because this year's theme is break the bias, and I would say break the bias in any ways. Like the last question when I'm asked why should we celebrate these days, or how are we going to celebrate these days? I personally would say that these days are important, but don't celebrate it only on that particular day. Don't think of a transgender, don't think of a woman, don't think of a child only when the designated days are there. Don't think of a man when there is a Father's Day. Do it every day. Make it a point that you write a sentence on something. Make sure that it's inclusive every day. So that is what I think, and that is a suggestion.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we are good to move to team number 6. Revati. Revati Sujit from Narata. Thank you, Revati.
And also Nitin is there.
Nitin. Yes. We will try to pin both of you. Do you want to check your video? Yes, you are audible. And are you able to turn on the video?
Wait, madam.
Okay, great.
Okay, madam.
Got it.
Okay. Shall we start, madam?
Go ahead.
Hi. Good evening. I am Nitin.
And I'm Revati. We are representing our company, Noratal India Power Components Private Limited, the global player in manufacturing transformers.
First of all, we would like to thank the Women Inclusive in Technology for conducting such a wonderful event as a part of International Women's Day, and also appreciate WIT for their valuable endeavors and initiative for transforming the lives of women.
We also thank the management of our company, Noratal India, for giving such an opportunity to be a part of this wonderful event. As you're aware, March 8th, International Women's Day, is a global day and is celebrated in most parts of the world to take the conscious cognizance of the unprecedented achievements of women, irrespective of which section of the society they belong to.
This year, the UN theme for International Women's Day is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow.
Gender equality was made a part of international human rights law by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted by the UN General Assembly on 10th December 1948. Today, the word gender is closely associated with transgenders along with male and female. The struggle they went through to achieve the legal rights and protections will be marked in the history. The initiative of Kerala government offering jobs in the Cochin Metro is a remarkable one. And at present, many companies are also taking initiatives to recruit transgenders in their organizations.
As furnished in the International Women's Day theme, the gender equality is being pointed towards sustainability. Today, everything is moving towards a sustainable development. Gender equality today itself also aiming for a gender equal sustainable tomorrow.
May I interrupt, please? Because is this on slideshow?
Hello?
Is the screen on slideshow?
Yeah.
So we're still on slide 1. Nitin, if you guys have moved ahead, we can't see it.
Oh, I have already moved to the third slide, madam. I think.
Yeah, so we can see the outline on the left. I mean, the slides on the left, but it's not moved to slideshow.
But I have already moved.
Can you unshare and share it again so it will work?
Okay. Wait, madam.
Sure.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah, now it's what?
Now it's okay, madam?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let me continue. Now they're raising the question, how they are connected. As per the studies, women are among the most vulnerable to the impacts of unsustainable practices and climate change because they often don't have the uh, independent income or land rights. In many countries, women are responsible for the provision of water, food for their families because they are the heart of household. So they know much more about the challenges they are facing and the possible solution in this area.
Here we can see that 70% of 1.3 billion people living under poverty are women. And in urban areas, it is 40% of the poorest households are headed by women. And only less than 10% of world's land is owned by women.
For any development efforts to be sustainable and effective, it must consider the needs of all people, especially those who don't have typically in voice of in decision making. So at first, we should consider women, the needs of women in any development ideas. At the same time, we should empower them and include more in the decision making and leadership roles.
In the year 2015, UN members adopted 17 interlinked global goals to achieve sustainable development. Gender equality is one among the most important sustainable development goals. They dream to achieve this by the year 2030. Here, the Global Gender Gap Index, which is a study conducted by the World Economic Forum, and it was first introduced in the year 2006 to calculate the gender gap in the four major dimensions, which are economic participation and opportunity, health and survival, political empowerment, and educational attainment.
As per the Global Gender Gap Index report 2021, there are no economy which has yet achieved full gender parity. The two leaders, Iceland and Finland, have at least closed the 85% of their gap. As per the report, the global gender gap is now 0.63 and there is a gap of 0.32. And it will take more than 135.6 years to close the gender gap worldwide. One of the most important points to be noted is out of these four dimensions, the political empowerment remains the largest in gender gap.
Here in the study, we can see that India is ranked 140th position compared to the 156 countries with a score of 0.625. India is one among the worst performing countries in the South Asian region. And also this year, India's rank dropped by 28 positions compared to the previous report. Being a patriarchal society, the women are still lagging behind in political, technical, and leadership representations. They are still facing poor literacy rates compared to men. Differences in marriage age, quitting of job after marriage, or having a child are very few common phenomenon which we are seeing in our country.
These are some of the ways through which Iceland became the global leader for the past 12 years. And what we dream today for achieving gender equality, they have been achieved years back itself. That's why they are became the global leader in gender gap.
The immediate areas for providing gender equality or gender equal society can be from home, workplace, school, or media. First, let us begin from our very own home. In our home, parents must take initiatives to share household chores equally among all members of the family. They must set equal rules and roles for everyone in the family. Male members in particular must go for an extra mile to empower women in their family. Joint decision-making must be promoted within the family, thereby creating a sense of equal feelings from the very home itself.
As home, workplace can also contribute a lot to strengthen gender equality. So as a first step, companies must take some bold steps to recruit women more in leadership and decision-making roles. Equal pay irrespective of gender should be followed by each of the companies. Work-life balance by providing flexible working hours should definitely help employees to continue their job for a long time. Safe transportation offered by companies would definitely attract more female employees to the company.
Moving on to school, school authorities must educate the need of gender equal society from the lower primary classes itself. They must expose children to diverse role models. Both boys and girls must be given equal opportunity in sports and extracurricular activity, which gives better understanding that they all are equal.
As you know, in today's world, media plays an important role in all aspects. Towards gender equality, they can recognize the positive deviance and they should promote equitable gender norms through movies, shows, documentaries, and articles.
We should break the bias, we should break the stereotypes, and we should aim for a diverse, equitable, and inclusive world, which is the campaign theme of the International Women's Day 2022. We can generally see gender biases in the household, in education system, in the economy, in the healthcare system, and in workplaces.
All these so-called biases are the roadblocks towards the gender equality. So we should break them all at any cost. Let us now see how Noratal India belongs to support gender equality. As our tagline says, it is performance matters, not genders. This is the graphical representation which shows the gender diversity in Noratal. More than 55% of our employees are women. Normally, for a organization which require more physical work, the companies will recruit more men than women. But I can proudly say that in Noratal, more than 55% of our workmen are women. We also encourage and we also involve women in more in decision making also. As this graph saying that more than 40% of our supervisors as well as the managers are also women.
Now, we can have a look on our group policy related to employment practices. Please have a look on the point number 5. Equal opportunity to harassment-free work environment without regard to race, color, religion, nation of origin, sex, sexual orientation, age, disability, or other characteristics protected by law. And hence we can say that Noratal supports harassment-free work environment. Noratal guarantees equal pay, increment, and promotion, irrespective of gender disparity. Our HR policy upholds diversity and inclusion in our hiring practices. We provide flexible shift adjustments to promote work-life balance. Noratal encourages the participation of our female workforce in various cultural and other sports events organized by the Technopark or other management organizations. Please see how our lady stars are performing. We were the champions in some of the sports events which was conducted on the previous years. We are very particular about the health of our employees and conduct workshops and medical camps and also wellness programs every year. As a former Secretary General, Mr. Kofi Annan rightly said, gender equality is more than a goal in itself. It is a precondition for meeting the challenge of reducing poverty, promoting sustainable development, and building good governance. On that note, we would like to wind up our presentation.
Once again, we would like to convey our thanks to V for giving us this wonderful opportunity to present such an eye-opening theme. And also, we would like to take this opportunity to congratulate each one of the warriors and leaders who were, who are, and who will work towards the gender equal world. Let us work together for our dream, a gender equal, a peaceful, sustainable world. Thank you.
Thank you for that. If you can unshare the presentation, then we can move to the Q&A bit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi, guys. You have done a great job. You have done a good homework before coming here. You have a lot of statistics. It's a great work. Okay, let me ask you something. You have taken statistics of Noratel and you have it because it's your company. Have you ever thought of taking a statistics of Kerala IT, at least Technopark's statistics? Have you ever tried that? And if so, what will you suggest will be the easiest way to get that statistics?
Hope in Technopark, most of the companies are IT based. So as per our idea, most of the employees will be women, because for IT field there will be no physical work involved. In current scenario, most of the physical work involved, they will recruit more men. As my experience, I will share. For the past 7 years, I have joined Noratel 3 months back only. Before that, I have worked in Chennai for one of the automobile industry, BMW. And there I can see that more than 80% of the employees are, not 80%, more than 90% of the employees are men. And remaining 10%, it is related to HR and some office work only. So if we compare the Technopark or this Kerala study, in Kerala, most of the companies are IT based. So we can see nearly 50% of the workmen or the employees are women. That's our thought.
Our company, being a manufacturing company, it still promotes female employees, and we are even giving preferences for them in by adjusting shifts for as per their requirement for having a equal, like a work-life balance for especially for females, because they are having even household chores to fulfill and all.
So do we know what is the percentage of women in Noratel? And also, do we know this level wise, as in starting of the pyramid, middle management and senior management?
Yeah, in our management level, there is 40% female managers, and being in a supervisors level, we are having supervisors as well as from the office staff, we are having 40% above, 44%. And in our workmen, which is the people working in the factory, we have 55% of female. And we are even giving more importance to female employees. And we are even trying to make the management as well as the office and supervisors to make it equal to 50%. We are even trying that.
We are also for the concentrating more on gender equal recruitment also, because this statistics we are here more than 25 years. So this statistics from the starting itself, most of the employees are from the start itself. Now we are practicing recruiting more employees in all department also.
Okay. Do you think that is there any gender pay gap exists in these companies?
No. We ensure equal pay for both gender, and even in case of increment and promotion, we are very much particulate about that.
What about in other sectors? What is your idea about other sectors?
Hope other companies also following the same.
I'm asking about the companies for the public.
Public also, I think it will be same. But in village areas, if we see, mostly means there will be more physical work, like farming work or like physical work. There will be some difference. Definitely, there will be some difference. We should work on that, and we should.
Of course, there is pay difference in even if you are seeing of even in film industry, their pays are very different. Even men are paid more than women, which exists in almost, I'm not sure, I think it is in almost all areas. There is a gap that do exist, this gender, the pay gap, but I think it is coming to it is progressing.
Call miss ചെയ്തു അപ്പം നേരത്തെ വിളിച്ചായിരിക്കും അല്ലേ?
Radhika, you're not on mute.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Revati.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, the interruption happened. Hope the answer question got over. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Radhika, I think we have time for one more question from
I'm so
panelists.
sorry about the disruption. Yes, we can wind up with one more question. Yes. If you do not have any questions, then good to move on. Subhash, Bindu.
Nothing from me, Radhika, for this.
Thank you.
Yeah, from me also, no questions.
Thank you. Well done, team. Let's move on to the final presentation. So can we have the team check the audio and video?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I'm from the fourth team.
With solution, you have all team members in?
Yes, we have.
Okay, we will let us spotlight your team, Sri Lakshmi, Thanas, Amrita, and Nitya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess everybody is ready. So shall we start?
Hello.
Others on the video?
Hello, this is Sri Lakshmi. Actually, it is showing that the host is not allowing participants to unmute themselves.
Sri Lakshmi. Okay, we will add you to the host list. Yeah, you're here. Excellent. So your time starts now.
Thank you. So I'll just share my screen. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Can you make it on presentation mode?
Yeah. Now? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Great. So a very warm good evening to one and all. First of all, a big thanks for giving us this opportunity to present our views on the topic gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. So to start off with, I have something to say that we become what we believe we can become. We do what we believe we can do. And yes, we believe that we can change this world. We are Team Neoteric from Pitch Solutions. So before going on to the presentation, let me just introduce my team. So myself, Kristen Martina Bright. We have Amrita CS, Nityasri Govind, Sri Lakshmi Sajib, and Tanas Parveen on our team. Wait a second. Let me just introduce ourselves as what we really believe we are. Yes, we believe that we are different individuals valuing and accepting each other regardless of skin color, gender, intellect, talents, or years. Yes, we believe in diversity. So before we go on to the big picture about the topic, let's just clear out some basics first. So first, let me ask you, what is gender equality? Well, it's pretty simple. It's basically the equality of the sexes. It's nothing but providing rights, opportunities, and equal participation to all individuals, irrespective of their gender. That is, gender never becomes a deciding factor. Now, why do we need gender equality? Again, that's also pretty simple. To transform this world and make it a better place. I'm 100% sure that with gender equality, besides the individual or the personal development, each and every person on this earth will have the power to transform communities, countries, and this entire world. All right, so now we have the basics sorted, but I have one question. What is the real impact of having gender equality? Well, my colleague Nityasri might have an answer to that. So over to you, Nityasri.
Thank you, Christine. So equality, what do we mean by equality? So what we are trying to say equality means is to give the opportunity, the freedom for an individual to choose their own path, identify their potential, and upskill themselves to a level that they are confident enough to say that, yes, I am so and so, and I can also make change. When we do this, what happens is, and there's a sense of responsibility, a sense of awareness that we develop, that our actions, our thoughts, our words has the power to change not only our life, but also impact the society that we live in. Now, this starts a chain of reaction, big or small, impacts big or small, and affects each of these styles mentioned in this chapter. Now, when we are aware of the power that we hold in our hands, we are conscious of the actions that we take. We are aware that any change, any mistake that we make can have an adverse effect on the society, and that any good thing that we bring into the society can help lots of people, not just ourselves, but a lot of people. It's like opening up a door of opportunity to new people. And this affects the surrounding that we are in. It helps the society that we live in. It gives the opportunity. It gives the skills that we require, which we never thought we bring about that skills. Now, these impacts not only these areas, but we need to know how to bring about these impact in these areas. So I call upon Tanas to shed some light on how to bring about these impacts in our society.
Thank you, Nityasri, for enlightening us about the impacts of gender equality. So we are aware of the problem. Now, what about the solution? We have come up with the idea of gender neutrality as the possible way to tackle all the discrimination and biases based on a person's gender orientation. So what we can do as the corporate sector is we should start hiring based on skills and experiences as the priority, not on an individual's sexual orientation. And we should practice inclusiveness rather than just talking about it. So proper representation from each group is in boardrooms, welfare committees, and redressal cells, etc., should be taken into consideration very seriously to ensure a sense of security, emotional stability to the colleagues belonging to the minority. I'm happy to share that in our company, the higher ups started addressing us as folks, not as guys or girls. These small steps can create a huge shift in a mass mentality. Also, one of the most debated factors that creates most of the biases is parenting or family responsibilities. It's high time we should start normalizing paternity leave rather than maternity leave and promote the idea of shared parenting and responsibilities as well. As there's saying that it all starts from home. So we should all start from home. As we are talking about gender equality, I'm thinking, is it only important today or there's more to it? Well, Amrita might be able to enlighten us about that. Over to you, Amrita.
Thanks, Tanas. Now that we have a clear view on gender equality, let's take a look at sustainability. As you may know, sustainability is the balance between the environment, equity, and economy. It is the integration of environmental health, social equity, and economic vitality to create a thriving, healthy, and a resilient community for this generation and also the generations to come. Sustainability presumes that resources are finite and these should be used with keeping in mind the consequences of the ways in which resources are used. So in simplest terms, sustainability is about the world that we live for our future generations, how we create and maintain the conditions under which humans can exist with each other with harmony to support present and future generations. So now we have gender equality today for a sustainable future. As my team has already mentioned, gender equality provides equal opportunity for everyone. This leads to efficient decision making, which includes the voice of all people, irrespective of their gender. People are different, and so are their opinions. which is why gender equality will contribute highly to sustainable development, as we'll get to see the view of different communities on sustainability and how we can achieve it. Gender inequalities affect the ability of individuals to adapt to climatic changes. Our view of gender as two opposing ideals make it harder for other genders to contribute their part in many factors. So recognizing all genders will lead to successful and long-term solutions to climatic changes. Difference in understanding of the problem and introducing solutions that are acceptable to all the sections of the society, even the minority, would keep the problem afar. These diverse perspectives will provide more equitable and sustainable solutions to climatic changes. But a question still remains, how do we make this possible? It seems like a huge step, but it is essential. So I believe my friend Sri Lakshmi here would have some valid thoughts on this. So over to you, Sri.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Amrita, for your information on gender equality and sustainability and all. So we have reached the end of the presentation, and now that we are aware of an overview of what gender equality actually is, its impacts, how is it related to sustainability and all. So I think it's high time for us to talk about the vision of how the gender equality can be achieved. So the first point that I'd love to address is awareness. That is nothing but the awareness of the importance of gender equality for a sustainable tomorrow. That is increased awareness of the links between gender equality and the sustainability. So the next point that I'd love to address is recognition. That is recognition of the gender differences in needs and opportunities. That is what we have to do is priority has to be given to gender balance and gender responsive climate policy. And this has to be definitely followed by addressing of the issues of all genders. That is comprehensive action that integrates gender concerns, and also it has to build the women's unique knowledge and perspectives. That is equal space and resources has to be provided to all individuals, irrespective of the gender, to participate in all decision makings and in all actions at all levels. And also I would love to add that the climate finance has to be made accessible to every individual, and it has to provide mutual benefits. So with all these points, we would love to wind up our presentation, and we would love to conclude by saying that we should be honest in our efforts and work on changing the social attitude towards all genders. That is, for attaining full gender equality, all the genders must work together and bring positive changes in society. So once again, we would love to thank each one of you for giving us this great opportunity. Thank you so much.
Excellent presentation, team.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
If there is one thing that we want to relate diversity with sustainability, how do you do that? How does diversity inclusion impact sustainability?
Maybe I can answer that. That comes from the fact that we are facing a lot of climate changes, right? Environmental issues and pollution and all those problems. We see that the data shows that these problems majorly affect the vulnerable class in this world, and it's said that 70% of that vulnerable class or the poor section are women. I'm just talking about women now, but maybe if we go on to the other genders as well, as we call the other genders, the count might be more. But for a fact, now I know about women only, so I'm talking about women. So I'm saying is this climate changes and problems directly affect the women in the society. So there comes that that gender inequality there. So if you are bringing women up front in the decision making, the decision making boardrooms, right, the policy making sections, there might be a change. There might be a change in the way we are bringing in new policies, new decisions to tackle the environmental issues and bring in sustainability. So there is that connection between diversity and sustainability. And other thing that I would like to say is we will have different kinds of thought process there. Like suppose if we have 10 people on board and all 10 are men, there is a high chance that all the decisions that will come out will be in a same pattern. With women and the transgender society, transgender section of people in board, might have different perspectives to the same problem, right? Women can bring in more empathy, the other sets can bring in more compassion, more, they could understand might the after effect of implementing so and so policies can be. So bringing in diversity can actually give us better, better sustainable policies and actions. That's what I would like to say.
Miss Christine, may I know you're suggesting men do not have empathy?
Not like that. I mean, but it's okay. We can just look at our families. Okay, I'm speaking for some families that I know. In our families, at our homes, when it comes to a point where we need to make some decisions, most of the times men are more into straight to the point. I mean, they are not very much considerate about what the other person might feel. I mean, I'm not keeping this general. It's just like there is that thing there, but it's not like men does not have empathy at all. There is empathy, but women can bring in more to that. Like we are, I don't know, from childhood we are kind of like that. Maybe we are tuned like that. I'm not sure why, but still we have seen situations where women can bring in a little bit more empathy, a bit more different perspective to the things that the decisions that are taken. It's not like men does not have empathy. There is that, but there is a bit more on the other side.
Okay, so we are looking at the other panelists also. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations on an excellent presentation, the way it was structured and presented. And I think the questions I wanted to ask have already been asked. Also, just wanted to congratulate you, and also the effort that you put in, including all of you having a common background on your Zoom visuals, etc., is excellent, and that kind of attention to detail is appreciated. I just wanted to ask you what is the significance of the team name that you have chosen?
Okay. So I guess Tanaz would like to answer that because she was the one who came up with the name. She had a very valid point there.
The word neoteric means new, something recent or modern. We are a age now where we are changing our views, we are evolving. So with the new ideas we are coming up, those who were suppressed, now it's like we are making our points, making our opinions. That's why I thought it will be a well-suited name for us.
Subhash, we lost you for a minute in between.
Yeah. I think it's some connection issue, but I could hear.
Thank you.
Okay,
yeah, thank you.
It was a very bright presentation. It was a good collaboration and teamwork is seen in that. Congratulations for the effort. Thank you.
Dr. Malu? Okay, if we do not have any further questions, then it's time to just have the closing remarks. And for that, can we have Aditi?
Yeah. Hey, good evening once again. Thank you so much to the presenters for doing their job well and perfect for all of us to enjoy and learn new ways of thinking, what's happening in the industry, and what more we can do from learning from our external world as well. Such a program is created to give spotlight to upcoming leaders, give them an opportunity to express their views, but also for all of us to learn from the newer generation. And we're really, really glad that this happened. But it wouldn't have happened if not for our panelists. And once again, I would like to put them up. So here we have these panelists. Arunima unfortunately couldn't make it today, but she will be reviewing the recording and giving her views. So Annie, Arunima, Bindu, Dr. Malu, Linika, and Subhash, thank you so much once again from the Women Inclusive in Technology. We're really, really honored to have you here to guide these presenters with your questions. I'm sure it would have opened up some new ideas also. So the next time they're presenting, they'll be better prepared for some of those thoughts as well. Thank you very much to all who could make it, and even the cheerleaders who came to just watch and learn from everybody here. A very good evening, and looking forward to your active participation in all our upcoming programs. Radhika, you want to just share what is coming up next so that participants can be aware?
Thank you very much. A quick recap of what has happened so far, what is rolled out. Yes, we have this award nominations. We Excellence Award 2022 in partnership with NASCOM. So the nominations are in, and the Onstage team contest has been concluded just now. And we will come back. The jury will definitely review the other nominations for the Excellence Award, the individual nominations. And the winners will be announced at the grand finale on March 11th. Again, the time is 4:30 to 6 o'clock, and it will be a virtual event. Other than that, we do have a couple of social media challenges happening, like video challenge, telling your story, the transformational journey. How did you break your own bias? So 60 seconds videos, if you can just create that, put that on the LinkedIn profile and then tag us, then there are exciting prizes to be won. And we do have a shout out frame that is being released. So you will be able to say thank you to those who had helped in your transformational journey. So your colleague, your family members, friends, whoever you want to say thanks to, you can use this shout out frame and again post it on social media and tag us. And we do have a IWD specific happening on March, full day open. You will be able to participate in that. It will have the fastest finger first prizes to be won. We do have a couple of webinars in the go, break the bias webinars. And yesterday we did have a very insightful session, breaking the gender bias, with insightful conversation with the transgender community leaders and advocates. And on 7th of March, we will again convene for a webinar on breaking the financial bias, especially because it is very much linked to the bias that we all carry, that women are not attuned to finance management. And another one lined up, break the barrier bias. And one last one, break the breast cancer bias. So all these webinars will be communicated through all of the networks and channels. You will be able to participate in it, ask questions, interact with the experts in these programs. And so our call out and request for help is, please spread the word around and ask more of your colleagues to be part of this larger movement. And so, you will definitely learn a lot, attending, listening into each of these conversations, just like we all are learning every day. Thank you so much. And again, one more call out, the final grand finale that happens on March 11th. We will have the keynote speaker and the award ceremony on that day. So looking forward to meet you all again soon.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Panelists, we will come back to you because I think we'll together catch up on the scores before we finalize the winners. Thank you for your time and efforts.
Thank you.